Next up is Julie Thompson with a closer look at Pembroke.
Hi, today we're going to be taking a closer look at the town of Pembroke's clerk's office. And we're very happy to have the assistant clerk, Andrea McKettrick. Welcome, Andrea.
Hi, Julie. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Assistant clerk, you do the same roles and responsibilities basically as the town clerk,
Yes,
correct?
that's correct.
Okay,
Yep.
and you'll step in for her in her absence,
Yeah.
etc.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, before we talk about the multitude of things that the clerk's office does, let's talk a little bit about you, how you got to where you are in the town of Pembroke, and a little bit about your background.
Sure. So I'm from the town of Pembroke. I've lived there basically almost my whole life. I've been in the clerk's office for about 5.5 years, since August of 2018. I came from kind of a completely different background, and when my boss was looking for an assistant, she had been elected in 2018, and she was looking for a new assistant. She was looking for someone younger, ready to learn, ready to kind of hit the ground running. There's a lot of work that goes into maintaining a clerk's office, and I was excited and I was ready to go. So I kind of worked out. I kind of fell into it, and I'm really happy I did, because I just think I love the work that we do in that office. Absolutely.
You're a natural for it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I'm from Pembroke, so I think that I carry a sense of pride with that as well.
Course,
you know what I mean? So I love servicing the town that I grew up in.
Now, where did you go to school?
I went to Bryanville Elementary School, Pembroke Community Middle School, and then Pembroke High School.
And did you go to college?
I did not go to college. No, I hit the workforce. I didn't.
Right away.
I did. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I knew, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I could work, I could make money, and so that's what I did, and that's what I ended up going, following that path, and then it didn't shape out exactly how I wanted, and then this position kind of came open.
Yeah, and the rest is history, as they say.
And I really think that things work out for a reason, and I'm very happy to be where I am.
Yeah, and I know the residents are happy too.
Oh, good.
Because you get rave reviews from people.
That's not why we do it, but that's why we try.
You and Peg are just wonderful.
We love what we do.
Yeah, obviously. So let's talk about what you do. Some of the many things, the birth records, obviously marriage records, death records. And I had asked you, do you also do divorce records? Because that's obviously a statistic. And you don't do that in the town.
We get the happy parts of the relationship. We get the beginning parts, the marriage certificates. We file the marriage intentions, and we maintain the marriage records. We do not handle the divorces. So you go through the court systems to get the divorce procedures started. So,
but you do the death records also.
We do the death records.
Okay. Now the census that you do, that's really important.
Yes, it is.
People, and you do this every year?
Every single year. So the town clerk's office has an annual census every single year, and then every 10 years your federal and state government will do their own censuses as well. Ours is extremely important because failure to respond to that annual street listing can result in you being labeled inactive on your voter registration or removal from the voter rolls altogether. So responding to that every year is actually legally required, which people don't always pay attention to, but we're required legally every year. And during election years, especially 2024, it's so important to respond to it because you don't want your registration to lapse when we've got so many elections this year.
Right. Now, is it just to do with voting, or is there other reasons why a census is important to a town?
There's a few different reasons. So it captures a lot of important information. So it captures how many veterans do we have in town, how many voters, how many residents, and then that information is then used to, we take it and get certain fundings based on our population size. So Pembroke teeters, we're under 20,000, and we kind of teeter between 18,000 and 19,000 residents any given year.
Obviously, when people update their census and they've had children, that will affect who's going to be in the school X amount of years down the road.
So we'll get requests from our school committee and our school administration when it's time for the kindergartners. So we pull that information from our street listing data and we provide that for them so that they can prepare their kindergartens.
Exactly. Okay. You also do dog licenses?
Yes, we do. And we actually, in 2023, we submitted to get a MGL stature accepted that allowed people over 70 and service dogs to get free licenses.
Free licenses.
Yeah, so our seniors over 70 have appreciated that program this year. They've come to the office to register the dogs as they do every year. And I get to tell them it's free this year. So I say that they've earned it.
Yes, they have. Yes. And obviously you're known for elections coverage.
Yes, probably the biggest work that the clerk's office does.
Right. So let's talk about that. What's the difference between the town elections and then the primaries for the years that there's other elections?
Yes.
And then the national elections?
So we just most recently had a primary for the presidential election. So primaries serve to advance candidates within a party to the general election.
Okay.
So at a primary, you only vote within one party, which that is what throws people off the most. Independent, unenrolled voters have the right to pick either Democrat, Republican, or third party, but they can only take one.
Yep, one ballot.
Yes, one ballot. One ballot's, one party, one ballot. And then you vote within that party to advance candidates to the general election.
Okay.
So Pembroke is not large enough to need primary elections. Some cities do have primary elections, like the city of Boston, for example. They have primary elections. We do not for our local.
Okay.
So our local is considered a general election, just like the November election will be a general election, where all candidates, regardless of their party affiliation, is going to be on the ballot.
Right.
So primaries serve to advance candidates within a party.
Right. So that there's only one choice for each party in the end.
Yes, exactly.
So if there's 4 or 5 different candidates that are vying for well, let's say a state rep or a state senate or of the presidency.
Yes, exactly.
You have to narrow it down to one Democrat, one Republican, and one possible third party.
Right.
And that'll be at the end.
And that's all that appears on the general ballot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what that particular election serves.
Yes, exactly.
And only that.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you get a lot of turnout for those?
It's a much lower turnout than the general elections. I mean, if there's a contested primary, then we'll see a heightened, if there was a contested Republican primary, Democratic primary, we'd see, a higher vote and participation there. But I think the problem lies in not everyone understands what the primaries do.
Right.
People don't always appreciate having to vote with one party, especially independent voters. They're like, well, I'm independent. And they are. They're not wrong. So we get much less turnout because I think of a lack of understanding of why they're important.
Yeah.
General elections definitely have a much higher turnout.
Okay.
Much higher
So
turnout.
now the election that is going to be for the town of Pembroke for this May.
Yes, May 18th.
Which is right after town meeting?
Yes, town meeting is always the second Tuesday in May in Pembroke, and then our town meeting always follows. It's always the Saturday that follows.
Okay. Your election follows.
Yes.
So what are the hot offices that are up for bid?
So this year, the most contested races are select board race, library trustees for the 3-year and the 1-year. We've got a 1-year vacancy, 3-year and 1 year.
Yeah.
And our school committee, there's 2 open seats for the 3-year term, full 3-year term.
Okay.
Those are currently right now the most contested races.
Okay. And do sometimes people pull papers and not return them?
Yes, that does happen sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, that does happen sometimes.
Okay.
For whatever reason, they just decide they don't want to run, or they, feel it's not the right fit for them.
Okay.
So that does happen.
And for every town, and especially for Pembroke, it's both the select board and the school committee that are kind of in charge of the biggest amount of money that's spent.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Therefore,
exactly.
those are not that any committee isn't important,
Right.
but they have a more fiscal responsibility.
Absolutely, they've got the biggest budgets that they're responsible for. So,
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Now, how do you feel elections go in the town? You have how many different places where people can go?
So we have 5 precincts. We have 4 locations for those precincts. I think it goes as smoothly as you can when you're spread out across the town. I mean, we're not a big town, so it's
Right.
good. I mean, we can get across town pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I think, the biggest thing is, you're going to be going across throughout the day, bringing ballots that have been returned by mail, that have been accepted, bringing unused ballots that your precincts need. We're looking forward to the community center opening,
Yeah.
so that hopefully it's going to be opening in June. That's anticipated date right now.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to, in hopefully September's primary, being able to utilize that space for all of our polling.
For all of them?
Yes.
Oh, so everyone would go there?
Yes, everyone would go there. Yes.
Ah,
yeah.
well, wouldn't that be wonderful?
That's
a community event in a community center.
Absolutely, and it would be much easier for us to facilitate. I kind of joke, troubleshoot any problems that occur at the elections. You know what I mean?
And you'll get the results a lot faster.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Everybody will be there. We'll be able to assist. I mean, I assist my town hall precinct 1 because I'm upstairs, but now we'll be able to assist all of our precincts in a much more efficient manner. So I think we're going to have one more election in the schools, and we don't want to be in the schools. The schools,
No, right.
It's
right.
not that the schools have been very gracious to us, but for safety reasons,
Sure.
we don't,
Sure.
we don't want to be in there as well. We don't want to disrupt the children's
Right.
day-to-day activities, and so we are very excited to be moving into
to be there. To see the entirety of this interview, please visit the Local Scene Government Services YouTube page. Thanks. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button before you go. We'll see you next time.